Alright, my friends, we are drawing something that is called a still life. You might have heard that phrase before, still life, but usually it just means you're drawing something that doesn't move around. So if you were drawing an animal or a person, they're going to move around, they're going to be breathing, but I could set this lemon and the squash here, and they're not going to walk away on me. So something that stays still. A still life is one of the best ways to train yourself to be really good at drawing real life. So this is called an observational drawing. When you observe, you're looking closely and you're drawing exactly what you see. You're not using your imagination. You're using your eyes and your hand. So I set up two fruits and a vegetable that I had in my kitchen. You could set up other objects that are around you, stuffed animal, cups, balls, toys, that kind of thing. So set up a few things that you can kind of put together and then draw what you see. Follow the outline with your eye and look carefully at it. I decided I needed an extra thing in my drawing, so I added the lemon. Here I'm moving my camera so you can see a little bit better what my eyes are seeing. You can't see it as well from above. So I have 2 lemons, an apple, a squash, and I'm going to go in now, and not only do I see those objects, but I also see their shadows. There's a really dark shadow underneath all of those shapes, a cast shadow, and then also each of the shapes has a shadow on the object itself. So there's a shadowy part of the apple. Well, I went in and I also drew the paper that I'm drawing on, just for fun, because I could see it right next to my fruits. So I'm using my pen to add those shadows to the objects themselves and also the cast shadow. The lemon, I made the shadow line a little bit wiggly. Now I'm doing something called hatching. Hatching is when you create a shadow or a darker area by using lines that are next to one another. The lines that are further apart look a little lighter, and these close together lines I'm using for the shadow, the cast shadow right here, that makes it look a lot darker. So hatching is a really good technique to make something look darker or lighter, and that's called adding value. Value doesn't mean how expensive something is. In art, it actually means how dark or how light something is. So there's a dark, dark, dark shadow, there's a medium dark shadow on the object, and then there's the lighter part of the object. Okay? This is going to show up even better if I add some color. Before I can paint my drawing, I'm going to erase all of those pencil lines. I'm holding the paper still with my other hand to make sure that I don't wrinkle the paper or rip a hole in it or whatever. You know, you've erased things before, you know what could happen. So erase all those pencil lines. If you don't have paint with you or you're not using paint, you can use crayon, colored pencil, markers even, to add the color to your drawing. So I am going to speed up the video here a little bit. I'm using watercolor paint for this. And so I have some water, I've got my brush, I'm using a thin, skinny brush. So a lemon is yellow, my lemon is yellow, and so the whole lemon is yellow, except the shadowy part of the lemon is actually not just yellow, it's darker. So I'm adding a little bit of brown to it to create a darker shadowy part of that lemon. That gives it value. The apple I'm using is red. I'm giving it a little bit of green in there too because it had some green parts. And I'm using green as the dark, dark shadow. Green and red are complements. But look, the green is too dark on my apple. So come in with a paper towel. I'm using a rag that I had next to me. Don't use a good towel. And you can just kind of blot out some of that you made that was too dark. The squash is kind of an orangey color, so I'm spreading that orangey color out, and I'm adding a little bit of blue for the shadow. Blue is the opposite color for orange, is a complementary color, so adding a little blue will make it a little darker. Same with purple and yellow. If I add a little purple to the yellow, it's going to make it darker. So now I'm painting the entire table. The surface I'm drawing on is this kind of brownish color, so I'm going in with some brown. And then for the shadows, I'm going to come in with a little bit of black paint to make it darker. So it's taking a real thing that I saw, that I was looking at, real objects that existed in my kitchen, and I'm drawing them as realistically as I can. Um, I do not have blue walls in my kitchen, but I am putting blue walls behind my objects. The reason is because there's no blue anywhere else in my painting, so I thought it would make the other things in it pop out really well. Also, the squash is orange and the table is kind of a brownish orange, so blue and orange are opposites, so they're going to make each other pop really well. I'm also adding some lines to my drawing there to just show that it's a piece of artwork. Remember, your objects don't have to be veggies or fruits. It can be anything you have that you like to look at. I wouldn't pick something with a lot of detail, like tiny, tiny details. That would take a really long time to draw, so pick simple objects. Have fun!